Hi, Elise Fay with the CBOC team and eXp Realty. And today I have invited my dear friend and longtime lending partner, Eric Murrietta with Upland at V.I.P Mortgage. And the reason I invited Eric here is because I just came across some interesting stats that I wanted to discuss with him. So the average homeowner has about $315,000 worth of equity in their home. And the average retiree has about a fixed income of $75,000 a year. So what happens when you're a retiree and you want to right-size your home, but you don't qualify because of your fixed income, but you have all this equity? How do you move from point A to point B?
Right. And that's what we find to be really challenging, right? Because clients will come to us and maybe they've got a little bit of a mortgage or they have some stuff and they're trying to buy that next place. But how do we unlock that equity without making it impossible for them to buy the other place? Because debt to income ratio is still important. Affordability is still important. And there's a few different ways that you can do it. Obviously, number one, they could sell the house.
Yes.
And then they could maybe rent a place, but now you're transitioning and moving twice, which is challenging for, some clients. And then the second thing they do is you could be contingent, but a lot of sellers are like, I don't really need a contingency, especially in a market that's pretty stable and they're going to get an offer. And so contingencies are an uncertainty for the seller. So it makes your offer less attractive. And so the other way you do is maybe you could get a line of credit. Some people go, hey, maybe I'll get a line of credit against my house. I'll go buy the other one for cash. But if you don't have enough equity, what do? Well, you could try a bridge loan, but bridge loans are not fun. Do you know why bridge loans aren't great?
No.
Okay.
So,
well, the reason why bridge loans are tough is because you're collateralizing both properties and you still have to qualify. And it's hard to qualify for that much debt on, again, that fixed income. So that brings us to the knock program. We had some success recently with this client, and we're continuing to see more opportunities for borrowers within this sort of structure of having equity but being on a fixed income where we can utilize this to really help them. And what the knock program does is it basically gives them a loan against their property, but it allows them to put some of the costs kind of back into the loan. So we essentially remove the debt against anything that they have on their current place, and then allows us to have them borrow on the new one. And the fun part is there's a lot of companies out there that will buy your home from you.
yes, and a lot of people will explore, Open Door, OfferPad, or some of those, Buy My Home Today programs, but they're really giving you not much return.
And you don't have a lot of control.
And you have no control, and usually have to be out in a few weeks. And some people say, well, why can't I just put my home on the market? And then I ask them, well, I don't have room in my place, and you could be homeless. Like, what's your option? You don't want to rent again and make a third move. So this has been very appealing.
Yeah, and when we move off of those like wholesale ones, the knock program gives the borrower ownership of the house, allows them to still use your expertise to sell it, and then they give them 6 months to be able to sell the property so they can transition out of their place into the new one, and then they've got time to be able to sell on the regular market, which is still really solid.
Yes.
With somebody like Elise, instead of already having thrown away the keys and giving up additional equity that they may not have had. And so that's what we found to be really successful with recent clients.
This was great because they probably gave her almost half of the down payment on the new purchase, and she was moving into Surprise. She has a home, rather large home on almost 2 acres in Scottsdale. Horse property, but over time it got to be just too much for her, and she could not qualify for the home in Sun City. So we used this program, and she closed on her home, and now she's got all this time to move all of her stuff into her new home, get settled, and we just listed from her house, and we actually sold it for $100,000 more than we told the NOP program that it was going to be worth. And so we got somebody who was a user, an investor who wanted to live in the property, and it's going to close in 2 weeks. And she is so thrilled.
So instead of her taking a lowball offer to get the equity to then buy a place, she was able to utilize this. And I think it probably put a couple $100,000 more in her pocket.
Absolutely.
Had she not done that. So that's what we try to do. We try to look for clients that are in this position that need a little bit of help. And this knock program has been something that we're really utilizing and seeing is helping our clients to be successful. So if you want more information, click the link below. It'll be information that you can get to us about the knock program, and we can actually look at how much equity you have in your place and what you could get for the knock program to be able to make this transaction seamless for you.
Great. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely.